Blessed is the sky and all that is warm and filled with light. Blessed is the air and all that is open and free. Blessed is the earth and all that is steady and firm. Blessed is the sea and all that is hidden and deep. Welcome to you, wherever you are, whoever you are. Welcome to this online service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Waynesboro. Now, each one of us has our own reasons for tuning in this morning. Some of us look for reassurance, some for inspiration and challenge. Some hope to hear music that in our memories and through its words put us in the right frame of mind to face the week ahead. And for some of us in this time of a pandemic, this time is a needed reminder of normalcy that we must await patiently, knowing it cannot be rushed. Whatever your reason for clicking play on this video, whatever you bring with you to the watching, we welcome you and hope to see you in person when we are all out of danger and able to again be an in-person community. Our message is a saving one. You are enough, and we each can join in the human calling to draw the circle of inclusion ever wider. I'm Sylvia Woodworth, and never in the about 25 years that my husband Doug and I have been members of the UU Fellowship of Waynesboro could I have imagined that I would be welcoming you to this service from my kitchen in Stewart's Draft. But though we are not in the same room, I still feel close to you. I feel your love and support, and know that however I choose to spend the gift of this day, it will be influenced by the values and principles we share. I'm so grateful that we are able also to share this service. Let us now kindle the chalice of our hearts, reminded of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of our shared humanity. May we know once again that even though we are apart from each other, we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle, so as also in science and logic. We are connected to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Our words of prayer this morning are by Mark Bellatini. Baruch atah emet. Blessed are you, O truth. Like the fabled Moses, I too can never claim to have seen you face to face. Too often I've hung my own face on you and pretended that I know something I do not. Indeed, my most honest heart confesses that at most I have only caught the briefest glimpse of you at the very edge of my eye, and only when I get out of my own way, my own rush, my own fury. I sense your cool shadow on me when I grow hot from the tears I've been holding back, or when I notice the sadness or whimsy hiding in the silent eyes of those around me. I sense your closeness when I gaze at a star suddenly unveiled by a toreador cloud, or catch at an early yellowness in the leaves of the oak. It's then I feel a brush of wings nearby and realize that I am only a small part of it all. Then I know that I am not the great high power of the world, but only a puff of breath hidden amidst the mighty blasts of the great whirlwind called the universe. Like a lacewing, barely floating on the tip of a small blade of green grass, is my life, from beginning to end, a short footnote to a vast essay of stars and space unbounded, an essay neither signed nor fully symbolic. And yet this truth, your truth, is no sadness but a joy, no lack but a blessing, like the sight of a child at play, totally absorbed in the moment and glad. Blessed are you, O truth, who plays in this silence like a child in the waves of an infinite sea. Baruch atah emet. No joys and sorrows have been sent in for this service, but we know about surgeries some members have undergone and illness of close family to our members. So let us hold the joys and sorrows unspoken, together with those totally unknown, in our hearts together quietly.
this love. We rest in this love.
Good morning, it's Debbie, and I have a reading for you today. I sure miss seeing you all. This is titled Nourished by J. Wallen, and I like it a lot. When I look up into the night sky, I am in awe of all that is. There in a faraway galaxy, a star has died, yet it is bright enough for my eyes to see and make a wish upon. When I walk in the ocean, I feel the waves rush across my feet, and I feel a certain peace with the world. I peer out into the endless horizon, knowing they came from a place beyond where I can see. When I sit around the fire, I feel its warmth enter me without ever touching me, and I feel safe from the unknown, wherever I am. I take in a breath, and I know I am in the present moment. All of these wonders that move us and make us feel alive and make us dream and make us wonder, let us protect them so that my children, our children, everyone's children, my grandchildren, our grandchildren, everyone's grandchildren, for generations upon generation will also have the chance to look beyond the horizon and marvel at the wonder of existence and continue to be nourished by our home, the earth.
On our Sunday drive last week, Walter and I went to Amherst County. At the edge of Amherst City, we took Kenmore Road through the countryside back to Bear Mountain, sometimes described as the spiritual home of the Monacan Indian Nation. We saw the mission school, a rough log building built in 1868, that gave Monacan children a 7th grade education. In practical terms, it was the only schooling Virginia's race laws allowed them until 1964. Today, the school houses the Monacan Indian Museum, which we plan to visit after the pandemic passes. There it sits next to a little Episcopal mission church surrounded by forest whose no trespassing signs identify it as land owned by the Monacan Nation. We continued over country roads, not seeing a soul even as we passed the occasional home surrounded by cars. We went farther and farther, and then the pavement stopped. The mountain road, switchback after switchback, changing names, and we continued on Wares Gap Road. It got narrower as the ascent to the gap continued. Though we were only 11 miles out of Amherst, the slow pace on unpaved, winding, narrow roads, the absence of people, and the dense forest around us made us feel small and distant. We had enough gas in the tank to make it all the way back home, but in that setting, I thought to myself, are we going to make it through? It was an experience of great natural, wild beauty that filled us with awe, and it was tinged with an edge of apprehension. Later, back home, reflecting on the day, my mind wandered over to Carl Sagan. Remember back in 1989 when NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft was about to leave our solar system? Carl Sagan insisted that they turn the camera for one last picture of Earth from the greatest distance it had ever been seen. Some of Sagan's colleagues feared the instruments would be damaged in that move, but Sagan prevailed and humanity got an amazing photograph. We'd already seen beautiful, crisp pictures of Earth from space, beginning with the pictures from the moon missions. But this picture wasn't like them. It was grainy, low resolution, and in this picture, Earth was just a dot, less than a full pixel of the picture. Suddenly, Earth was remote, small. Sagan later wrote of it this way: everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. He continued, the Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph they could be the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. Now, more than 30 years after the pale blue dot photo, Voyager 1 is the most distant human object in space. It is roughly 12 billion miles away, and it takes about 17 hours for it to transmit data back to Earth. But it is still connected to this mote of dust. For Sagan's fellow observers at NASA, the picture sparked a range of reaction. NASA researcher Candace Hansen-Koharchak responded this way: I still get chills down my back because here was our planet bathed in this ray of light, and it just looked so incredibly special. But Candy Hansen, a planetary scientist at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory who worked on the Voyager imaging team, had a more nuanced view. She observed, "It also made me think about how vulnerable our tiny planet is. Incredibly special, incredibly vulnerable." This pairing of what on the surface seems like opposing senses of what this experience can tell us about our world reminds me of a passage in the Talmud. According to Rabbi Bunam of Peshitska, everyone should have 2 pockets, each containing a slip of paper. On one should be written, "I am but dust and ashes," and on the other, "The world was created for me." From time to time, we must reach into one pocket or the other. The secret of living comes in knowing when to reach into each. We are creatures who evolved with a sense of awe, a sense of specialness. But we also recognize that we can think too highly of ourselves, that we do not have the power to control every variable or every outcome. Reality can press on us something like a sense of fatalism. In the bylaws of the Unitarian Universalist Association, the first stated source of our tradition is direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. And our fifth stated source is humanist teachings which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science, and warn us against idolatries of mind and spirit. Life-giving wonder, and with a scientific mind eschewing a sense of over-importance. The world is there for us, and it is our fragile home. We have to keep these concepts like competing messages in our pockets, in balance, thinking we are worth everything this universe offers us, yet knowing our worth is a fragile thing. We wandered through the mountain gap in Amherst County, experiencing awe at the beauty and apprehension at our isolation. What if we get a flat tire or meet another car where we cannot turn around? Right there, all of that alongside the thrill of beauty, as if ready-made for us. What an apt metaphor for this time when human existence is shown through the data to be so fragile, so at risk. And yet, this is a time that allows many a chance to open with eyes of wonder to the possibilities around us. Amen, and blessed be. Before we proceed to the benediction, I have one important announcement. Some of you have seen or heard about a letter from Susan Frederick Gray, the president of our association. And many of you probably found it surprising or even shocking. In that letter, she recommended that UU congregations nationwide plan for continued closure to in-person meetings through May of 2021, a year away. Sharon Van Name, Diane Gannier, and I have been working through implications, possibilities, and concerns, and are not yet ready to make a decision about our fellowship's plan that far out. But we want to assure you that we are conscientiously working on this and will engage the board in reaching decisions that are best suited to our fellowship, our values, and the realities around us. Our current in-person closure will continue through June 30th, in which time we will make decisions relating to the coming fiscal year. Please be patient with us in this process. And now, as we leave this sacred time together, may the soul of your soul bless you that you may walk in safety through this earth. May the heart of your heart shine within you that you may bring what is good into the world that needs it, even when you have to do so virtually rather than in person. May the life of your life be radiant with acts of loving kindness, sharing the resources you have in a time of need and uncertainty, sharing your spirit and caring with those who are down and hurting. Amen, and blessed be.